Morning, it's Thursday morning, it's the start of the new vlogging week. I'm in the dining room, sat at the table, doing a little job. But before I show you what I'm doing, let's look at the temperatures. So it is a lot warmer today. 13 degrees outside and it's a little wet, 71% humidity, and it's an absolutely balmy 12 degrees inside. Aren't we lucky? And it is, it's past morning, it's 20 past 12. I am doing a little repair. So you all know that I tend to wear some form of hand warmer. These are, I think they're called wristies. They were fairly cheap because I didn't want to spend a fortune on cashmere turtle doves, which are lovely, but they don't last very long. What I'm doing is repairing my fingerless gloves. Let me show you the problem. So there's a lovely big hole there. There's another one developing here. And I think just here. Yeah. This one, which is the left hand, is not too bad. Although I have repaired these. And they need a good wash as well. They really do. I do lots of things around the house wearing these. Obviously not cooking. But yes, I don't want to throw them away because they're a few years old now and they're really good because they're insulated. I find them useful, so I want to repair. So I've got some cotton and a needle and I'm going to try my best to sort of sew that up. I mean, that's the best I can do really. I haven't got any wool that is this colour. Cotton is the way to go. And I've got the big lights on. I'm going to get on with this now. This is where I struggle. Trying to thread a needle. There we are. I'm just going to go for literally just sewing it together. I think what I'm going to do is go along all the way just to hold it together and then go back along to really fix it in so I don't have to keep pinching it. So there we are, job done. That looks a bit Frankenstein, but hey, it'll hold. This one here, sort of looking really threadbare, but I've sort of crisscrossed with cotton and sort of pulled the knitted fabric together so it's no longer holey. And then this one, just done the same, crisscrossed and gone over and over until it's sort of pulled it together. And that will do. It saves me having to buy a new pair, and they're sort of work gloves, if you like, around the house, you know, for doing stuff. If I can get another year out of them, I'm pretty sure they'll go again, but hey, they're mended, and that's the main thing. So I would encourage anybody to mend stuff if you can. Good afternoon. It is late afternoon. I think it's about 4:30, is it? Alexa, what's the time?
It's 4:51 p.m.
Little later, 4:51. It's absolutely dark now. It's very overcast this afternoon, but it's remained mild. I had a lovely bath, and as you can see, I'm wearing my penguin hoodie, my full length hoodie. It's right down, literally right down to the bottom of my calf, which is lovely. I mean, it's not that cold, but after a bath, I obviously like to put fresh clothes on. So I've got fresh thermals on, fresh t-shirt, my hoodie and a fresh scarf as well. It was a really lovely bath. Paul's having one now. We're sort of out of sync because we went away last week. We only have one bath a week. The rest of the time we wash because that's the way we like it and it's the most economical way of doing it. Paul was just saying, God, remember the days where we used to shower, you know, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day in the summer. I mean, you know, just simply couldn't afford it. And it's really interesting because I've been talking recently about the cost of living. And I don't mean to, bang on about it all the time, but we had the budget, the government budget announced, and there's going to be no let up at all. The only thing that interested us was the talk about reducing the fuel payments, as in, gas and electric. Yeah, it works out a saving of £150. And, based on my vlog last week, where I sort of worked out that actually if we had the heating on all day, heating the home to 18 degrees, which is the government guideline, the NHS guideline, it would cost us approximately 140, 150 quid a week. So reducing the prices to work out at a saving of £150 over the course of a year is absolutely nothing. It's nothing. It's like a kick in the teeth. The whole thing is a complete and utter shambles and a farce. And I don't know which planet these people are living on, but it's not planet Earth. It's planet Rachel Reeves. I'm astounded by it. Doesn't help anybody. It certainly doesn't help people on a low income. Doesn't help us in any way. So yeah, I didn't think it would. I had no hope that it would, but we need to get the Labour government out. We need to prevent Conservatives getting in. We need to prevent Reform getting in, and we need the Green Party in power. And, I'm sorry to those people that say, but they wouldn't know how to run the country. I don't see anybody else doing a very good job either. That's the truth of it. The majority of people in this country are working class people who are struggling. Those are the people that need to be given some kind of assistance. There was also no mention whatsoever of any help in social care. No mention at all of social care. Just crazy. We're becoming a country that forgets the working class people, forgets the vulnerable, doesn't give a damn about homelessness or debt. It really doesn't. It doesn't care for people who are disabled. It doesn't really care, So anyway, I'm not going to talk any more about it now. I'm about to go upstairs and continue with a piece of music that I'm working on. So I will see you later. Bye for now. Good morning. It's Friday morning and we're going out and about today. We're driving down into deepest, darkest Wiltshire to visit Avebury, which is a small village nestled in the Wiltshire countryside and home to, I think, the largest stone circle in Europe, I believe. So let's get on the road. Yeah, we've got snacks. We're in the car, Paul's driving, and we have come a different way this morning. We need to make our way to the M4 motorway, which takes us out west towards Reading and Slough, that way, that direction. And we've just come through Norwood and Cranford, which are small villages not so far from where we live, but there was a little bit of build up of traffic. But we are just coming to a junction now which will bring us up to the M4, which will hopefully be free flowing and will take us down to the Hungerford turn off, which will take us through to Avebury via the market town of Marlborough. So yeah, I shall show you interesting segments from the journey. into Hungerford town centre. I can't tell you an awful lot about Hungerford. It's a cute little village.
Antique shops.
There's a lot of antique shops, and there was also an awful tragedy a few years ago. There was a sort of shooting of several people.
Decades ago.
Yeah, it was. It was maybe 30, 40 years ago. 40 years ago it must have been.
Yeah. And they changed the gun laws.
Yeah.
Tightened them significantly.
Yeah, but it is a very cute little village. Lovely little properties. Very small village.
We're coming out of it now.
Yeah. And the next town along is Marlborough, which is a market town, and it's very popular, very, very picturesque.
Famous public school.
With a famous public school, with a mound in its gardens.
Like Silbury.
A bit like Silbury. And then beyond Marlborough is Avebury, which is the centre of several historic monuments, including Silbury Hill, including West Kennet, Long Barrow, and Avebury itself. So we really are in the deepest countryside now, with views wherever you look. This road is leading through Savernake Forest, just coming out the other side. Coming down the hill now, out of the forest. Shortly you can just about see Marlborough below. We'll just be shortly coming through Marlborough, which is very pretty. As you can see, the outskirts are packed with gorgeous little old cottages. Mind you, I wouldn't like to live on this stretch because it's incredibly busy, this town of Marlborough. It really is. Beautiful church there. This will open out into a sort of parking area, which I guess is also used for markets as well. Look at that. Beautiful building. Wow. Actually, it's not as busy as usual.
I don't know. It's market day.
No, we've very often been caught.
It's market.
Oh, it is market day. Yeah, they've got their tree up, I can see. No, but very often we've been stuck right round the corner, Paul. Yeah, they've got their market stalls. It's a lovely day for it. Oh look, Waitrose. That's where you can buy Guernsey butter. Not that many people out and about though. Proportionately, it doesn't. You know, I've seen more people on the streets of Marlborough before.
Yeah. Looks as though they must start at, I don't know, 12 o'clock or something.
Maybe, or 11:30. And then this big complex of buildings over here is the
School.
Marlborough College, I think it's called, isn't it?
Yeah. And I spent a few days there.
Yeah, you were on an exchange, weren't you?
Yeah. The mound is in there.
Yeah, this is all Marlborough College. You can see all the children. Beautiful big church.
Science labs.
There we go. That is Marlborough. Next stop, West Kennet, Longbarrow and Silbury Hill.
Yay!
And then, of course, Avebury. I don't know whether you can hear me because it is quite breezy, but it's a beautiful day for it. This is the path that leads from the car park to the village. Very often this pathway is filled with people going to and from. Not too many people today. You can see that sort of mound here. That's the edge of the circle. And as we go round the corner, you'll be able to see the part of the circle that the path runs alongside. Here we are. To watch where I'm walking because the path is a bit uneven. Those sort of obelisk-shaped stones are where stones would have been, because a lot of stones were broken up, mainly because of religious beliefs. But there we go, you can see part of the stone circle. Beautiful. There is a feeling around this place, there is an energy which is a draw for many people. So as we walk around, I'll show you more. This ditch is really deep. It's very quiet. Thank you. What we usually do is walk the circle all the way round. So we're wending our way back to the car park. We've just been in the shops, had a little, done a little purchasing of some second-hand books, and just picked up some incense cones as well. So we're saying goodbye to the stone circle until another time. Goodbye, Avebury. But we are going to visit Silbury Hill on the way home. Oh yeah, birds in the distance. Are they starlings?
No.
So this is Silbury Hill. Sort of doesn't look much when you're here, but as you get closer you realise how large it is. There is a main road that runs right by it, so it's quite noisy. Magnificent. And this whole area below it very often floods, so it's almost like it's got a moat around it. Goodbye, Silbury Hill, until next time. So we're not very far from home. We're on the Great West Road, and that very bright light in the sky is a plane coming into land at Heathrow.
And the one behind it.
And then you can see, I don't know whether you can see those bright lights
In the sky.
Just ahead.
On the right.
They are planes.
They're all stacking up, coming in. So from the top of our house, we can see these coming over Canary Wharf, that must be about 20 miles to our east, mustn't it?
Well, central London is 12 miles.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's sort of more like 15 miles. But yeah, we're sort of hitting, I think, Friday rush hour because it is 4:30. Look how dark it is already. It's that time of year, it's one of the darkest times of the year.
Look at the plane, look at the
Yeah.
plane.
Look at the plane through the dirty window. There it comes.
I can see 1, 2, 3 others.
Yeah. Morning, it's Monday morning. I didn't get round to doing any vlogging over the weekend. So rewind to Saturday. What happened Saturday? Filming Sunday Chat, editing, uploading footage, the Avebury footage, dealing with all of that. So it was a fairly busy day. And then, early hours of Sunday morning, I was woken up. I don't know what by, but I kind of came to at 3:28, I think it was, because I whispered to Alexa and woke up wide awake, absolutely wide awake, but feeling very woolly-headed, stuffed up, in the head, noisy ears, as in, tinnitus and different tones of tinnitus. After about an hour of sort of lying there and allowing my brain to torture me to the point of feeling a little crazy, I got up around 4:30, came downstairs, read some comments, attempted to do a little bit of reading, but just didn't feel well at all. So I would say that yesterday, Sunday, was a bit of a write-off. I made the conscious decision to not do any work, not do any editing, not turn on the computer. I got back to a few comments on the phone, and I dozed for most of the morning here on the sofa because I just didn't feel well. I didn't feel desperately unwell. I just didn't feel well. I thought, I've clearly got a little mini virus. By the afternoon, I sort of was feeling a little better, a little clearer in the head. I get this from time to time. I've always had a problem with my left ear. So when I was a child, you used to have hearing tests, and I was told that I was partially deaf in this ear, probably due to eustachian tube issues. So for those of you who don't know what the eustachian tubes are, it's a tube that kind of goes between the ear and the throat, and it kind of gets filled up with fluids, and very often those fluids are drained through the action of chewing, jaw motion. Also doing that and blowing gently can help clear them. If you hear a pop, that's part of the clearing process. So I've always had issues, that's what I'm saying. Usually in the winters I would get quite a lot of catarrh and have earache quite often. So I'm kind of used to it, If I get a little virus, it tends to sort of settle around that area. And I think there is one going around because our Vivi had one as well, didn't she? So that was affecting her ear and head around here. So I think I probably had similar. But I think the rest yesterday did me good. Sorry, I'm just going to sit down. Because I did feel a lot better in the evening, and we had been invited over to our friend's house down the road for some supper. So we went down there around 6:00, which was lovely. She'd made a gorgeous sort of stew with rice. I took over the remainder of that chocolate brownie that I defrosted in the morning. Well, Paul had defrosted it for me. We had, a really nice evening. I got back here about 8:15 and watched a little bit of telly. But by about 9:30, I was ready for bed. I really was. Sorry, I've just had breakfast. I've got all bran in my teeth. Disgusting, Richard. What else? Oh yeah, last night, slept really well. I did wake up fairly early. It was certainly dark, but I didn't get up. Well, I got up to go to the loo. I'm feeling a bit clearer, still a little bit woolly, but clearly whatever it was has sort of unblocked a bit, because I'm feeling a little clearer in the ears. What tends to happen is everything starts to sound very muffled and boomy. That's what tends to happen. And so all noise becomes annoying for a period of time. But today it's certainly not as boomy, and there's a little more clarity in this ear. It does kind of right itself, but very quickly becomes blocked again. That's just the way it is in the winter for me. Yes, I do use things like Albus oil on a tissue. I do inhalations as well, which do help. They help clear the catarrh out. So I do things. I do self-help, if you like. Do. I do. I do. Anywho, I'm feeling brighter in myself, as you can see. But this morning is really mild. It's breezy, it's grey, it's wet, but the temperatures have risen a little bit. Let's have a little look, shall we? So yeah, you can see here it's 10 degrees outside, 12.5 inside, 69% humidity, and it's 24 past 9, and pressure is dropping, so it's a little bit stormy. So I'm going to be doing some editing shortly. I've got a wash on, I need to do a few bits of housework as well because I didn't really do anything yesterday. But yeah, I think we're in for a damp day today. Yeah. So nothing else really to report, I don't think. No condensation on the windows this morning, although I thought there was going to be because there was a little bit yesterday evening, but I opened the windows and it cleared. So I'm really pleased that the temperature is a little higher. We have had the heating on this morning just to send a bit of a wave of warmth through the house and warm up the room at the top, ready for the work day. Paul's up there already. I can hear him talking to Vanessa on the phone, probably doing the ordering. I think that's what they do on a Monday morning. So when they've done that, I'm going to go up and start doing some edits because I need to whip this video into shape. There's so much footage of Avebury. There's too much. I tend to sort of take too much and then cut it down to make it viewable because I don't like things to be too long. And I know many of you do watch long videos, but YouTube tells us that the majority of people only watch for a certain length of time. So I don't want to overblow it, and I certainly don't want to alienate those viewers that like shorter videos. So yeah, there you go. So I'm going to be off to do that shortly. I may have another cup of tea. I don't know, possibly. So I'll see you later. Morning. It's Tuesday morning, and I don't know whether you can tell, but we have sunshine. Hurrah. It's about 5 to 11, the clock tells me. So rewind to yesterday afternoon. I kind of still wasn't feeling right yesterday. I just couldn't get warm. Didn't have any chills or fever or anything like that, but just couldn't get warm. Felt sort of just generally uncomfortable, really stuffy head still. So I had a little bit of a rest yesterday afternoon. Didn't do much. Did a few bits and pieces, but just wasn't feeling sufficiently motivated. But I did do some reading, more of that in a moment. And I also did do some getting down of DVDs, more of that in a moment. But let's look at the temperatures today because they're a little bit higher than they were. It's 13 degrees in the house, 12 degrees outside, quite high humidity. Pressure is going up slightly, and yeah, it's just coming up to 11 o'clock. So I'm still not feeling right. I have had a lazy start. I've been watching some documentaries on Elizabeth I, which I love. So I kind of wasted a little bit of time doing that. I've currently got a wash on. I've cleaned a toilet. I'm just about to start in the kitchen because it needs a good wipe round. I'm hoping that I can get motivated enough to do a cookery video. I'm not feeling terribly motivated to do much at all. I'm a bit bunged up, so I clearly have a little mild cold. So I'm taking it relatively easy. I'm just not pushing myself. I guess if I was in a workplace, I would probably have taken the day off because, sitting in front of a computer all day, I don't think so. But I wanted to share a couple of things with you that are really exciting me at the moment. First of all, this book that I bought at Avebury, Elizabeth and Mary by Jane Dunn. Now, it's quite a substantial book. And as you can see, my bookmark isn't very far through. Let's have a look and see how far I am. Page 51 I'm on. But the great thing about this book is it has a family tree. And I got this marked as well because you need to flip backwards and forwards to really understand the relationships and the family arrangements, if you like. And I'm really learning a lot. I mean, I thought I had a reasonable vocabulary, and I'm pretty good at spelling. But there's so many words I'm coming across that I just sort of thought I knew what they meant, but had to double check them each time because I want to fully comprehend what I'm reading. And I'm not a big reader. Most of you know that. It's very rare that I pick up a novel. What I tend to enjoy reading is factual stuff, non-fiction, science books, books with pictures. This does have pictures, and I love the paintings from the Tudor period, some of which, of course, were painted slightly later, but I love dipping into this period of time. Tudors, love it. Although I'm not a huge watcher of Tudor-based movies, I prefer the documentaries because very often the movies play around with timelines and borrow stories from later in the period and sort of move them backwards a bit and forwards a bit, and which, you know, I'm not sure why they do that. Not sure the reason for it. Obviously, dramatic effect and all of that. But I prefer sort of as accurate depictions as possible to the reality. You know, how accurate they are is another thing. But the good thing about the Tudor period is there is a lot of written stuff. There's a lot of accounts. There's a lot of stories by people that visited the Tudor courts. So we've got a lot of history. And, you know, even though it was 500-600 years ago, whatever it is, it's far away, but it's ever so near as well in many ways in terms of historical records. So that's what I love about this period. So I'm really enjoying this book. It's slow progress, but it is so well written. It really is. I don't know whether I mentioned, but I picked up another book that we've got, which is a big book, again, big hardback, on medieval Britain. It's such a difficult read. It really is. It's nothing like this book. Jane Dunn has done such a good job of bringing the period alive. Yes, you do have to keep checking the family trees. That's why it's there, to make sure you're fully understanding the relationships. But I love it. I really do. And I can't wait for some time this afternoon to sit down with it again. Yeah. The other thing I've done is gone upstairs to our DVD shelf, which houses a small collection of our DVDs. We've got many more boxed away. But I said to Paul, I'm so sick of television, ordinary television. I'm so bored with it, watching the same things week after week. I'm craving something else. And Paul said, well, I'm craving the Golden Girls. Why don't you go and fish out our complete collection that we have? And while I was doing that, I came across a few other DVDs and I thought I'd share them with you. So as you can see, I've pulled out quite a few, and we've got the Golden Girls collection at the bottom there, the entire series, the entire collection of series. But I want to start with this one at the top. I don't know whether you can see, but this is Duran Duran's Sing Blue Silver. So I had this on video when I was a teenager, and this is the 1984 documentary of their tour. Let's open it up. So it is a documentary of their tour of Canada and America. Oh, look at John. When they were at their height, absolute height. It's got some beautiful pictures of them. I mean, they were so pretty, weren't they, Duran Duran? I was a big Duran Duran fan. And this was a glimpse. Oh, look at Simon. I actually have a piece of memorabilia. I should actually dig it out. Simon wears on this tour a very fancy belt set. And, oh, look at Nick. Love Nick. And a friend of mine, Nikki, her dad worked, I don't know what he worked in. I think he was some kind of roadie maybe. And they were at the Apollo at one stage when they were doing the UK tour. And I think Nikki's dad mentioned to them that Nikki was a fan. She wasn't really a fan. And he gave her a little loop from the belt, which was like studded with white metal studs. And she gave it to me, and I've still got it somewhere. And I treasured it and wore it on my wrist as a teenager for many, many years. It's probably, look at Roger, gorgeous. It's probably deteriorating now. It was made of leather. But we watched this last night, and it's a fascinating insight into the world of the rock star and the behind the scenes activity that goes on at these events. Masses of people being employed, you know, lots of things going wrong, screaming fans, and of course plenty of concert footage. And it was interesting because a lot of what they were doing in terms of live performance, having video screens, fantastic lighting, was the best that money could buy at that time. And it was pretty spectacular. You know, they were famed for their really spectacular concerts. So it was a real treat to watch this. It really was. I really enjoyed it. The next one that we're looking forward to watching is the Hammer House of Horror. Now, this is the collection of the more modern horror films by Hammer. And this is a collection of, I think there's about maybe 4 DVDs, I'm not sure. But yes, and it has some classics, including The House That Bled to Death and Children of the Full Moon with Diana Dawes. You can see her there. Peter Cushing. So we're going to start watching this. Yeah, 4-disc set. So yeah, looking forward to that. I've got a few Blu-rays because our player is a Blu-ray player. 2001, another classic, sci-fi classic. Love that. Paul's favourite, Blade Runner. This hasn't even been taken out of its packet, although we've seen it many, many times, and we've got another version on DVD, but we've never watched the Blu-ray, which obviously will be slightly crisper. Galaxy Quest, wonderful, wonderful sci-fi movie, which of course is sort of based around a sci-fi series which has had its time, and all the characters kind of get together for the sci-fi conventions, and they're all a bit tired of it, and you know, and accidentally get involved in a real life alien ship adventure. It's a good movie, really good movie. Now this one, I love this collection. It's a really good presentation. Let me open it up for you. The Comic Strip Presents. Now this the comic strip involves people like Peter Richardson, Jennifer Saunders, Dawn French, Rick Mayall, Ade Edmondson, etc. And they made a series of small films, short films, during the 80s, and I couldn't get enough of the comic strip at the time. It was edgy, it was new, it was in association with Channel 4, so you knew you were going to get something that was new comedy-wise, but also really, really on the edge. And I love the comic strip. Let me open it out and show you the DVD presentation because it's really great. Probably end up knocking it off its perch. And then this opens out. Oop. Like that. And then that opens out like that. So there's, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Total of 9 discs. So love that. Absolutely love that. My favourites are the famous 5 Mickey takes: 5 Go Mad in Dorset, 5 Go Mad on Mescaline, Susie, Gino, Eddie Monsoon, and of course the name Eddie Monsoon was recycled by Jennifer Saunders as the character Adina Monsoon. Totally different characters. Slags, Consuela, The Strike. Other favourites, GLC, Les Dogs, which features Kate Bush. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to diving into that one as well. And of course, I couldn't leave this one out, Children of the Stones, which was filmed in our beloved Avebury, which is, it's a children's series, believe it or not, from the 70s, I think. Yeah, 77, which is sort of all about supernatural goings-on in the village of Milbury. They renamed it. It's all sort of a little bit culty and a little bit dramatic and quite frightening for children. But of course, we were fed all sorts of stuff in the 70s that we probably shouldn't have been, but we lapped it up. And of course, the 70s was a time where people were really still taking in all those supernatural stories and ghost stuff and all sorts of things. Yeah, love it. Children of the Stones. There we go. Another favourite, Contact with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. Another favourite film on Blu-ray. Looking forward to giving that a whirl again. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The original BBC series. Nice presentation box again. Armistead Maupin's Tales of the City, the original series, which was the best as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't very happy with the subsequent ones that came out. Didn't think they were as good. This had a magic about it, this original one. And it's kind of the first, I think the first 2 books, maybe, I'm not sure. But really, really good. Of course, starring Olympia Dukakis as Anna Madrigal, and with those unforgettable characters, of course. It is really the story of Mary Ann Singleton moving from, where does she move from? Cleveland to San Francisco in order to dip her toe in a different life, and she does. And she, of course, takes a room with the famous landlady, Anna Madrigal, on Barbary Lane. And Paul and I love this, so we're looking forward to giving that a whirl as well. So there we go. That's a bit of TV for us in the form of DVD, which we don't watch enough. But we've got some really good ones there. And there's plenty more upstairs to look through. So there you go. I hope you found that interesting. Just wanted to share those things with you. I think as the winter progresses, one needs to be mindful of one's entertainment and not get drawn into the same old boring stuff and revisit the classics. I think all of those are classics as far as I'm concerned, and I know we're going to enjoy them. So there you go. I'll see you later. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking dinner because Paul's down at Vanessa's today. And I'm doing a sort of throw together stew. It is, what time? 10 to 4. As you can see, it's starting to get very, very dim. But I'll just show you. I'm doing the throw everything in at once method today. I'll show you what I've put in. So there are carrots, onions, beet, potatoes, celery and celery leaves, parsnip. And what I'm going to do is put some stock over this. Oh, and garlic as well. There's about 5 or 6 just whole garlic cloves thrown in. I'm going to make some stock with some bouillon powder and some yeast extract, i.e. Marmite. And I'm going to put this on a low heat and just let it cook away. And then later what I'll do is add some beans, a tin of whatever beans we've got in the cupboard for protein. And yeah, this should be delicious and healthy, just what we need. Plenty of vitamin and fibre content. And I'll probably season it with some black pepper as well. It took a while to prepare because I had to peel everything. The carrots were tiny little baby carrots, so they needed a good peel. The potatoes were potatoes from a plot neighbour's plot. Thank you. So they needed to be peeled. So yeah, the sun has gone down by the looks of things. These dim afternoons, even when the sun's out. It's only for a couple of hours in the afternoon, and then it dips below the horizon, and then it starts to get dark. So yeah, I'll see you later. It's Wednesday. It's bright. We have sunshine. It was a cold night. Not too cold. There was a bit of condensation on the windows, but the sun is streaming in this morning, and the garden's sort of sparkling with little wet drops of moisture. I've just been giving the kitchen a little bit of a wipe round. As you can see, it's very bright out there, bright and sunny. The sun is getting lower and lower day by day as we approach the winter solstice. So today is a filming day. We're doing tomorrow's episode of Richard and Paul Cook. And I've been doing some research this morning. This is what I usually do. Just before we film, I get a few cookery books out and I look at what we're doing and I look at its origins, try and expand on what we know ourselves, make a few notes, formulate the recipe, and yeah, do a little bit of work. The series isn't particularly random. We do like to sort of think about the dishes that we're cooking in relation to our lives, and also a little bit of history, origin, where they come from. I'm not going to tell you what it is, what we're cooking, but I think I may have cooked it as part of a vlog before, quite a few years ago. So I'm looking forward to doing it. How am I feeling today? Well, I'm still feeling a little bit woolly in the head, but not particularly bad. So, you know, I'm doing stuff. Yesterday was a relatively busy day. It ended up as a busy day. Did a couple of loads of washing, did a little bit of housework. I'm going to do a little bit more today. I need to do my vacuuming and dusting today, but that can happen this afternoon once we've done the filming. So Paul is down at the plot doing, I think, assisting with the water turn off for the winter. So I'm sure he'll tell you more about that. And I think that's it for this week. So I'll see you tomorrow for Richard and Paul Cook. Lovely. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.